Welcome to Holistic Human Performance Podcast. My name is Gena Bradshaw, where we talk all things holistic health, wellness, spirituality, fitness, meditation, energetics, and so much more to help you become the healthiest version of yourself. Let's dive in. This is not medical advice. This is simply to help you on your journey through health, fitness, and wellness. I hope this helps. You can complement this with anything that you are doing currently in your life. Enjoy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Holistic Human Performance Podcast. I'm your host, Gena Bradshaw, and today we have a very special guest, Shenell Malloy. She is a cancer survivor and thriver, giving back to the community through her business, Do Cancer, educating others on them going through the battle of cancer, survivorship, all these amazing preventative tools on like a holistic level that I'm so thrilled to talk to her about. So welcome to the podcast.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shennell Malloy.
Hi. I'm so excited to have you on. So we met through Instagram. I think you did a giveaway, and one of my friends sent it to me and was like, you need to connect with this person. So, or like the company rather, because it was Do Cancer. I think you were doing a giveaway with like some type of like scanning tool.
Yeah, it's probably Prenuvo.
I think that's what it was. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to connect with whoever is behind this business. So I reached out, we chatted. It was such a good conversation, and we just like had so many commonalities. I was like, you gotta come on. We gotta chat. We gotta tell the listeners about your amazing story and the work you're doing. So why don't you tell us about your journey, as a cancer survivor, and kind of like how it led you to what you're doing today?
Well, about 4 years ago, so early 2019, I was diagnosed with glioblastoma, which is a very aggressive, rare form of brain cancer. The statistics are terrible. They gave me, 6 to 12 months, a 94% chance of not, making it through the year. So it was heavy. It was really hard to digest that news. And when I was diagnosed, I had 2 young kids, a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old. And I was like, this is not going to happen. Like, I'm going nowhere. I've lost a parent when I was younger, and I knew that pain. And I just really made the choice early on that I was going to do everything and anything I could do to heal and be the 6% chance that lives. So I really focused on that. It was like I really immediately had to choose life. When you hear kind of a death sentence like that, I was like, nope, this is going to be, something that I one day make into my superpower. I'm going to turn the worst thing that ever happened to me into one of the best things that ever happened. And it's a chance for me to live again. Like, it's like a second chance to live. I feel like I was always healthy. I'm from Southern California, kind of living the very healthy diet, nutrition, into wellness, into exercise. But a lot of things I wasn't doing and focusing on, I think, was for my mental health and my emotional health, which really led me on this healing journey early on to seek out tools like hypnotherapy and meditation and breath work. So I did started exploring a lot of healing modalities early on, actually, when I was doing brain radiation, which in a way was a gift because that type of traditional therapy is very intense. So I got the walls down very quickly. I was at a very vulnerable, weak point in my entire life. And I was physically very depleted, but it really allowed me just to surrender and accept and really just let go of anything that might be holding me back from healing. And I turned to my faith in God, the universe, all things spiritual. It was like I just truly stepped into my own power to heal by using all the energy around us. And I think that was probably the most important part of my healing journey, because it really changed my perspective on cancer happening to me, and instead seeing it as this is like a second chance to live right now. I get to maybe prevent something happening worse later in the future by really taking the steps to heal all of maybe the causes in my life that even made the cancer happen in the first place. So
Right.
I did a lot of hypnotherapy, and that was very powerful to heal, everything from losing my father very young, and just, fear and anger, and just all of the heavy negative emotions that I literally felt like I was storing in my brain, in my body, in my shoulders, and my neck, and kind of all the different areas of my body. And I wasn't too surprised that my cancer was in my brain, because I run very fast, and I, take on a lot. And it really gave me a chance to just slow down, be present, focus on myself instead of giving, everything to everyone. And I really prioritized my healing early on. And I think that is a big reason why I'm here today. So when I was kind of at this point of, Shennell, are you going to live or die? I just said, God, like, if I make it through this, I will devote my life to helping others. I know that there's so much to learn and share. And if this works, I will share everything I possibly can to help others like me that are in this position, in this moment of not knowing which way is up and down, and they're scared for their life. They have, kids that they are just terrified of not being there for, not seeing them grow up. And I made that promise very early on. And Do Cancer was my way of creating something positive, a place of hope, a place of healing. I wanted everything to be light and positive, and really just flip the script of cancer being this terrible thing to really like, this is a chance for us to heal. And by sharing what long-term survivors like us are doing, I think there's a lot of just power in that, because we know we've been there, and what better hope to get than from someone who's walked in your shoes, who's living. And I early on had a lot of people reach out to me that had a teacher with cancer, or a neighbor with cancer, or a sister. And they said, Shennell, do you mind talking with them? Because like, you have the worst of all the cancers, and you're doing it, you're doing cancer. And I really just saw that as like, wow, like maybe this is my purpose. Maybe I was saved to be this beacon of hope for others, and really share that, look, this terrible thing happened. I mean, cancer sucks so bad in every way. But in the same breath, it is this beautiful gift of truly living your most beautiful, meaningful, purposeful life. And we all don't know how many days we have here on beautiful earth, right? It's like every day truly is a gift. But when you're faced with a life-threatening diagnosis or a life-changing traumatic event, like some of us have, it's just this eye-opening, like, I've never been more alive in my entire life. And I really see the blessings in that. And I really hope to share that when I am counseling with people through Do Cancer, that one day they are like me on the other side, sharing their story. And stories are so meaningful, and they have so much connection and power behind them. We all have stories. We all have beautiful journeys. And I think the more we can share and step into our place in this world, like the more we grow and kind of turn the worst thing, like I said, into one of the best things. And for me, Do Cancer has been this platform where in the beginning, I didn't really know what it was going to look like. I knew I just wanted to share all the things I did to heal, and that I was, lucky and privileged enough that I could explore all these different healing modalities. That one, I had the, drive to just check out and do it all. And was like, ooh, the weirder, the better, like this is like a fun, like, energy work. Yes, sign me up. Sound bathing. Wonderful. It was like, I went to Sedona for a month for my last chemo treatment, and just healed. I really just believe that we all have this power inside to heal if we can give ourselves the chance. It's like, get out of our own way sometimes and prioritize ourselves. And it's not just the physical healing, it really is the emotional, spiritual, mental journey that we have to go on for our bodies to heal. It wants to live. We just have to, put it in the right space too. So that's what really Do Cancer was founded upon, of just a place of hope and healing. And we now, we just launched our You Can Do Cancer program in January. And
Congrats.
We've helped our 50th participant, and they are thriving. They are so it's incredible to see how in the beginning, a lot of them are exiting treatment and they're ending treatment. And it is this kind of hard time where you're like, I don't know what to do now. I just went through this, and medical treatment is actually, in a way, is so easy because you just do it, right? You follow the protocols, you listen to your doctor, and you go. And then when it's done, you're like, okay, what now? But there really is, that's to me when the real healing happens, because now you got to get your body strong. You just put it through, hell and back. You've been through the gauntlet physically. And now this is time to reboot in a way. It's like rebooting your system. And we have different practitioners. Hypnotherapy, like I said, is one of my favorites. So that's kind of the beginning part. And that really just helps your mind and allowing you to process trauma that may be hindering you from healing, and that may be holding you back. So getting someone started with therapy, and maybe that doesn't speak to you, we have traditional therapists available as well, but just really getting your mind in a place of all right, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to live my best life. What might be holding me back from that? And let's heal the trauma behind the emotions that are stored there. And through that, there's also Be Your Health with Maddie Pollock. She is an amazing lymphoma survivor who puts our participants through a whole nutrition, getting kind of them really learning about all different types of just healthy habits. So it's nice to have a cancer navigator just walk you through and have them learn a lot about just, well, what types of food should I be eating? What types of fuel? I believe food is medicine. And, we really have to consciously be eating and really keep giving our bodies the best environment to heal. It's like cancer doesn't end when treatment ends. This really is the time now for your body to stay cancer free. So she's really helpful with just helping with the health side of things. We have breath work options and just all different types of healing options in our menu of services that just help educate people on learning about all these different ways we can keep healing and prioritizing our self-care. It's you don't know what you don't know. And I think it's important for just sharing and trying and learning about all these different things. So yeah, that was just kind of a long-winded way of sharing what Do Cancer does, but I feel very compelled that Do Cancer really is going to help and change a lot of people's lives that want to help themselves. You have to be an active participant if you want to go through our program. You gotta want to be there. So
absolutely. Oh, so many gems to unpack there. My first question though is, what were you doing prior to Do Cancer? Were you full-time mom? Were you working elsewhere? What were you doing prior to all of this?
So I was in commercial real estate prior to having the babies, and I decided to kind of prioritize being a mom, but I also helped my husband with kind of our family businesses. I was always doing something. I started a philanthropic group that helped various charities in San Diego called Heals to Heal. So I've always just been really into giving back and just doing a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was always working and not working, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was just curious because, a lot of people that I interview, especially those who have gone through like these traumatic like events or, whether it be with health or, emotional or just events in general. And it's so wild to see what they've evolved into because they were doing something so completely different before said event. And then it's like what you said earlier, kind of how you leaned into, and you were like, God, universe, please, if I survive, I will dedicate my entire life to helping people. And I think that's so important. And I actually just wrote a blog post about this actually for my newsletter. Because we're recording now, but Thursday, June 2nd will be my 10-year Cancerversary. So it's so amazing to have you on. And one of the 10 things that I wrote about that I learned throughout this decade was to lean into the adversity as your medicine. And I think that's so like astronomically important because the more that you can like lean in to the healing, right? You said like the weirder the better, like lean into the healing of all of these different tools and modalities that we have. Yes, you may go through traditional, the Western medical medicine, but you can do other things. Like you can pair the two together, you can integrate, right? And it makes you stronger on the other side. So I commend you for leaning in, and because you're helping so many people. And if you don't follow Do Cancer on Instagram, please follow them and their website too. They have so many amazing gems of information that can truly help you on your journey as you go through cancer, after cancer. Because you're right, it really is like this whirlwind of what now. So when you were going through cancer, right, I think you said this, but were you actively going through these different healing modalities? Were you like actively like, okay, I'm going to eat this specific food. Okay, I'm going to go to this type of therapy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I like joke that I became like CEO of, Heal Myself. Yes, because to me, it wasn't like one thing I was doing, like it was everything I did. And it's not one thing we do to heal, it's everything you do to heal. So when I got diagnosed, I immediately just was like, okay, I need to find every complementary care practice that is going to, one, get me through cancer treatment, and two, like allow me to live. Like all of these, there's so many different healing modalities all over the world. Like I need these tools in my chest to like pull out when I need them. And so when I started my 42 days of brain radiation and chemo combined, it was really hardcore. Yeah. And I immediately went and I called my cranial sacral massage therapist. She came like every other day after surgery. I then had an acupuncturist who I got connected with, who also does energy work. And she immediately started seeing me weekly. I started my hypnotherapist, which I told you guys about earlier on. And that was also every week. So it was like, I just started building my schedule. It was like my healing schedule of just, this is what I got the medical treatment dialed, but like, I need all of this stuff to kind of keep me afloat.
Right.
So that was definitely like lifelines is what I called it. And I started doing those healing modalities kind of just, and I actually still do them. So every week I still see the same acupuncturist who does, massage therapy with acupuncture and cupping. And I do a lot of just the same healing modalities because I love them. They're just now part of my regular life. It's my medicine. So I haven't been on a pharmaceutical since 2019 when I ended chemo. Amazing. And the last 4.5 years, not an anti-seizure, not a steroid, not a painkiller, nothing. And I use all of those different tools to stay strong and healthy. Diet for me is huge. I put in a really beautiful organic garden. That's just, I believe, the more we can eat from the earth, the better. Like that is just the best medicine we can possibly give ourselves. And what we put into our body matters. So I no longer drink alcohol, but I do love like CBD and cannabis. I believe that plant medicine is super powerful. It helped me it helped me get through kind of, the worst parts of chemo and nausea. It allowed me to keep my weight up, which was super important because I'm already, smaller build. Like I needed to have my strength, and just seeing how like powerful that plant medicine was, it was like, I never wanted to put anything in my body that might be too toxic. It's like we all have our cup, and if we fill it too much with toxins, it just overflows. And I feel like that's why a lot of us get sick. And my cup might be smaller than the next person's that can handle a ton of toxins. Mine's like this small.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I do a lot just of, no sugar. I still don't have any processed foods, refined sugar. And that was very easy for me to give up. It was like nothing tastes as good as living feels. And I just really was like, that's easy, like making the diet changes for me. I can control what I put into my mouth, and I feel better than I ever have. I kind of always had, gut problems before, and SIBO, and just these issues that cleared up very quickly after I started like eating the right foods and nourishing myself. I love bone broth teas.
My favorite.
Fresh ginger, lemon. I have lemon water every morning.
Yeah.
Celery juice every single morning. Those are like my two, nature's pills. I mean, that's my medicine. And I have to drink spring water. I'm very, very particular about my water.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, it has to be out of a glass bottle. I always have like a Yeti close by.
Same.
Spring water.
Can't even tell you. I recently just taught a seminar called Spring into Wellness. And the number one thing that I taught about was water and how clean your water needs to be. You have to filter your water. There's so many toxins in the water. And then add that into drinking out of plastic. Forget about it.
I just won't drink water. I mean,
I know it's not worth it.
Till I get home, if I, go somewhere and they don't offer spring water in a glass bottle. I mean, I feel like we're trending more towards, people offering that, but now I just travel with my Yeti everywhere. It's like part of my body part. I mean, people joke, they're like, here comes Shennell and her glass of spring water, or I'll go to a friend's house and they're like, I have your spring water.
That's so amazing.
But like, yeah, I mean, I guess that's like my new margarita.
Yeah, literally.
It's funny. Like I can actually like taste the different like minerals and different spring waters. It's like, once you pay attention, I know immediately if I drink something. Like, nope. And my kids even do.
Good.
Like, oh, I will not drink that water, Mom. Like that.
Teach them young. Teach them young. That is amazing.
I know. So yeah, I mean, it's like, I feel like the cleaner our water, our food, like all of those things that we put in our body, what we put on our body from facial products, it's like, I went through like a joke, like a chemo cleanse. Like I went through it in every way, like cancer cleanse my whole body. And I now have like, everything that I use is I wouldn't put on a baby. Like, why do we put things on ourselves that we wouldn't put on a baby? So
makes no sense. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's funny because
cancer does share a lot of those things too. It's just like there's clean and then there's cancer clean.
Right.
Like they're different, and that
two different things.
And that goes for everything, right? Like we put on our body, in our body, around our bodies. Like I sleep with an air purifier. I make sure I sweat every day. It's like every day I gotta sweat. And I used to never sweat. Like I was like, oh, sweating's gross. Now I'm like, oh, I'm so like, I love sweating. I feel so good. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like before cancer and after cancer. Like, who is this girl? I'm like, oh,
well, it's so important though, because right, we do very similar things where we're like leading these people who are going through cancer, after cancer, fearful of cancer. And it's we're bringing you through this whole lifestyle change, right? So, people will be like, for example, right, you have like your lemon water every day. Like I'll have that, and then I'll have like black seed cumin oil. And people are like, you do that every day? I'm like, yeah, like it's a non-negotiable for me. I exercise every day. Like it's a non-negotiable for me. And like you said, it's two different things, cancer clean and just clean products. And we have to do our research and understand like, okay, this is what I need. This is what my body needs. And it's a non-negotiable. two different types of clean: cancer clean and just clean products. And we have to really be, the whole underlying theme is being aware and having non-negotiables of the way that you want to live your life. It is fascinating to me how many people live the same way. Like once they find this holistic living, it's like a 360, but it's it's similar, right? Energy healing, or organic foods, like farm to table style eating, clean water, lymphatic system drain, like all of these different things. Clean air. Do you have what kind of products are you using on your skin? So that is pivotal when people are learning. And that's the thing, they're not educated. We don't learn these things in school, unfortunately. And so it's really important for us to educate. And I'm really glad that, number one, we met and that we can share our knowledge and, education with other people. Okay, so Shennell, now what do you think is the first thing that let's just say cancer survivor, right? They've now gone through treatment, they're done, and now they're entering back into real life, right? What do you think is like the first step someone should take making that transition with, their life and really their lifestyle?
Well, it's hard, right? Because I really believe in like whole person, like individualized, like where are you in that place? You need support emotionally and mentally. Is this maybe a time for you to really focus on, your perspective, your mental health? Are you in a place where you really need that extra kind of guidance, like moving forward to let it go, right? It's like you've got to let go of, in my opinion, like your old life, mourn your old life, and start this new, it's like Shennell 2.0 is how I see it. It's like I had to kind of let go of who I was before cancer and really like embrace this new person that I was meeting, and like what did she need? What were my needs? And really like thinking about who I wanted to be moving forward. And there's that mental and emotional component, but also if you are in a good place and you're like, I'm ready to rock, I'm ready to go, I think that's when you should really focus now on your physical health. Like you just went through a lot. And I think this is a time where you can learn about nutrition, diet, exercise, make a game plan. I'm always like a big, just advocate of like having just a schedule, right? It's like I have my motivation Mondays. That's when I do my workout. I do my saunas. That's when I go for my walk in nature. I do grounding. It like sets the tone for the week. So it's like do something and create something for yourself that is going to help you prioritize health. Like this is now the time to make the choice to live your best life. So what does that look like to you? And since we all have different needs, I really just say, and with Do Cancer, we kind of do this intake of like assessing where that person is at this point in time. It's like, where do you really need that support to prioritize first? Is it physically? Is it emotionally? Is it mentally? Is it maybe you really want to learn about just healthy habits and healthy eating? Or maybe, for you, it's like you really need to get over something that has been making you sick and release and let go of that stored trauma and emotion. And then for me, it's like this kind of, which was actually kind of fun for me, was going through all of my life and like doing like a full clean out, whether it be the people I hung out with, whether it be the things I were listening to or watching, putting on my skin. It was like, this was kind of like this time for me to start exploring ways for me to live a better life and a healthier life. And a lot of that kind of gets weeded out itself, but really this is the time where you get to just like, you don't, if it's not a, like I say, if it's not a yes, like a hell yes, like it's a F no.
Yep.
And being able to just like really step into this person of who you want to be and what does that look like. So I think taking the time to evaluate that, I always tell people like, maybe this is a good time to do like a trip, by yourself. You do like a wellness trip where you just connect with yourself on like, what is going to help me right now? And what's going to help me live longer now? So I think there's so many great tools for us to integrate into our lives. It's just taking kind of like one step at a time and one day at a time, and not kind of trying to do it all at once. It's just like focus on one thing and do it great. And then focus on the next thing. And really just take it day by day, because you just went through, a lot with your cancer treatment, and you might not be in the best place to just like do it all at once. But I know we can get anxious as humans. We're like, oh, I want to, that sounds great. I want to just, get my whole life in order. And it's not sustainable. It's actually exhausting and it's stressful. And if anything feels too heavy or stressful, I always just tell people like, don't do it. Like, you don't have to do anything. Like, there's no one making you do anything right now. If you just want to lay in bed and read books and journal write, do that. Whatever feels good, do that. For me, like I wanted to take Epsom salt baths for like 2 weeks after. And like every day I would just float, and like kind of like I did a lot of crying, but it was so releasing. And I just would float there and listen to like really sad music. It was like a breakup. When you had that like first breakup and you're the love of your life, I was like breaking up with myself in a way. It was really weird, but it was very cathartic, and I just left it all there. And for me, it was like, I just needed to really release a lot. And it was the best medicine I could have given myself. Like I needed that in that moment. So really just listening to what your needs are.
That's beautiful. Great advice. Awesome. Yeah, your old you dies. You have to, kind of let the old you go. And so you can move into this new better version of yourself. So It's interesting, kind of switching gears.
You guys think about how many different versions of you have you had throughout your life? Like,
right?
You let go of your child self, and then there's like the teenage you. And then, so I think there's all these different like versions of you that you go through, but there's never this like monumental moment that you have like a ritual for it, right? So
right.
I think it is a bit fun to really reflect back on the different stages you've gone through in your life, but they've all made you who you are today. All of those, things you've gone through in your life, all those traumas and events, they gave you strength for today. And I kind of like finally stepped into that power that I've had all along. It was like, I see you, you've been there all along. Like, let's go, girl. I've never felt stronger or more connected to my body and myself and what I need and who I am. And I think that is something that everyone should strive for, because it's the most amazing, beautiful moment, like to be able to just truly feel connected to who you are, who you want to be, and nothing else at the end of the day matters.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that I couldn't have said that better. That was amazing. Yes, it's so true. And like looking out, I love how you also mentioned how you lost your dad at a very early age. Like, let's be real, that played a role in your development, although not your fault, your development of brain cancer down the road, because that set the tone for your entire life. Dealing with these traumatic events, and also personally, right? I went through leukemia at age 3.5. I didn't do the healing work. Like I was 3.5. How would I know? Our children are very resilient, but the body always keeps the score. And so down the road, then when I was diagnosed, and obviously you have like the pharmaceutical toxins, chemotherapy, all of those things that kind of compile into, right? It's not just one thing. And then down the road, when I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer at age 20, that kind of was just like, whoa, like, right? I was an exercise science major. I grew up in a very holistic family, exercised, played sports. We ate very clean, farm to table style, garden. And, that's still, I'm like, how did this happen again? I'm very confused. And so that's where I took a deep dive into, okay, what's going on with my mental, what's going on with my energetics fields, and what's going on with my emotions. And so I had to really like kind of go backwards and do that healing work for, young Gena when she went through cancer at a young age and deal with that traumatic event. And that also, played a role in kind of lessening this fear of cancer again, right? And I'm like, wait, what the hell is going on? So I think it's super important. I love what you said, like leaning in and learning more about all the healing modalities, because energy plays a huge role, and the number one toxin to the body is emotional toxins. So if you're holding on and harboring to all of these like low, dark, dense emotions, it gets stored in the body and it plays out later on down the road. Your energetic body is always ahead of your physical body. So it's just a matter of time before those both meet. And it's either going to help or harm you. And leaning into that, like what you were saying, is so important to learn more about your body. And also, one really cool thing, I think I mentioned this in one of my other podcast episodes, but I learned in through shamanism, that facing a near-death experience is a spiritual initiation.
Wow. I believe it. I believe it. Yeah.
Because you really lean into, right? And not everybody does this, but I know I did. I know you did, into that spirituality. You're leaning into, okay, like what do I, as a soul here, having a human experience, what is my purpose in this life? Like, what am I doing? What am I doing here?
Yep.
And it just put right in our face. And it's like, hey, you got to go through this. And I know it sucks, but you're going to show up for other people who need it.
Yep. That's when the real growth happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we wrap up, what are some words of wisdom you would like to leave the people?
Words of wisdom. I truly hope that each one of us steps into who we truly are. We all have gifts. We all are here for a reason. And it's just, don't wait until you're sick to get healthy. This is our time to make the choice to live, to truly be alive and appreciate every single day that we have. So for me, it's spreading that just love, that joy, the hope, all the feels. There's no place to not have, to live in a high vibration state. So for me, choose joy, choose happiness, choose love.
Yes, yes, and yes. Thank you for that. So where can the listeners find you?
DoCancer.org is our website, and then our Instagram handle is do.cancer. So please come check us out for all things hope and healing. Prevent cancer. Well, if you're dealing with cancer, if cancer's in the rearview mirror and you're still just got it creeping up sometimes, we're here. We're here to support. We're here to share. You're not alone. We're in this together, and we're stronger together. So
absolutely. Thank you so much. For having
me, Gena.
Of course. It was such a pleasure. Guys, if you like this episode, like, share, subscribe, share it with a friend, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.